I'm going to create a new project directory, file, project window, new, parks underscore fish. I'll just call it fish rig. It's on my desktop. Accept. Should be in here somewhere. Here it is. Parks fish rig. So I'm going to open my project directory, open my scenes folder, drag and drop my fish model into my scenes folder. First and foremost, as we did with the toothbrush, I'm going to create a new scene file. And just like we did with the toothbrush, I'm going to reference that in. All of this is not new information. So file, create reference. It's right there. Shouldn't have to go looking for it. Most of y'all, I think, did a good job on this. Although I haven't checked your toothbrush yet, and we created the trophy. So there you go. I'm just going to assume you all did a wonderful job on referencing in your toothbrush. Here's my fish model. Reference it in. It's going to be huge by default. This is what he looks like. Be very afraid. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to do a little bit of the same of what we did with the toothbrush. We're going to use a twist deformer to make him rotate his head. And then we're going to apply a smooth to our character to make him have a control that allows you to deal with how much detail he has on his body. So I'm going to start by creating my controls because we only have 6 minutes and this is the easiest thing that we can go over. And I'm going to create my NURBS curves. NURBS primitive circle. Scale that up. And let me see where my grid is. There's my grid. Tiny. That's all right. I'll leave him there. And I'll put my main control. I'm just holding down V to snap to the bottom of his body so that my main control encompasses the character, but it's not around the character, it's under the character. It's at the base of the character. That's where your main control should reside by default. I'm going to go ahead and delete my history and freeze my transformations. Again, nothing new here. I'm going to rename it main underscore CTRL. And I'm going to create a twist control to go around his head. Now, in this case, we're going to create our own control shape. I'm going to Control D to duplicate my control, just because, you know, whether I create a NURBS curve or if I just duplicate a NURBS curve, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to scale this down. Oops, right about there. I'm going to shape it like this. And what you want to do when it comes to creating controls for your character, you want it to be in a shape that makes sense for its functionality. Okay, so what I'm going to do is all I've done is scale this down. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click on my curve, go to my control vertex, select the outermost vertices, and literally just move them.
How do you do that?
I use the move tool to move them down.
How did you do that? I kind of lost track after you. I kind of lost track of you. You said right click the thing.
Right click, control vertex. Select the outermost vertices and move them down. And I'm also going to scale them in on X, right? So I'm just going to switch to my scale tool and just scale them in like this. And what I'm doing is I'm creating this little control that goes around his head. And I'm just going to select the center CV and move that up a little bit to get it off of his body a little bit, right? So that's literally all I've done is I've moved the outermost CVs down and in and moved this center CV up so that it's off of his head. Now, this control is going to be his twist control, so I'm just going to name it that. Rename it twist control. Freeze transformations again. So now I have my main control and my twist control. That's really all I have time for before break. So I'm just going to go ahead and save as. I'm going to call this fish rig, or sorry, bparks underscore fish rig underscore 01. And again, use your first and last name when you're naming your files. First initial, last name, underscore, fish rig, underscore, and then your numbering, right? Okay. If you're not using your name, you're not following the directions of the company that you work for. Naming conventions are very important in the industry, and they're very important in this class. So make sure you name your stuff. And I'm going to click save. I'm going to stop my recording for now. Let's go to break.